One of the conversations that I have with clients all the time is about worth, especially if we struggle with depression and anxiety. But I think just generally as human beings, we kind of wrestle with this like, am I good enough question? And it kind of feels like our worth is defined by the checks and balances of our strengths and our weaknesses. And kind of feeling like our assets and the things that we don't do well, like those things kind of define us. But here's the thing, like our worth is static. It is stable, it is untouchable, and it is undeniably there. Like we have undeniable worth that we just have. And some people wrestle with that. It's like, oh, but if like I don't have to do anything to earn it, then like does it really count for anything? Or some people just like flat out don't believe it. Like, it sounds like a good idea, but like there's no way that's actually true. So the thing that I think of is my sweet baby London. My pregnancy with her was awful. I was throwing up for 20 weeks. And then as soon as I stopped throwing up, I developed this pelvic disorder where like your hips are supposed to separate in childbirth. Mine separated 4 months early. It was like super fun, excruciatingly painful. Every step that I took hurt. I couldn't put shoes on. Like, it was rough. And like she made my mind go crazy, and I had terrible heartburn, and I had insomnia, and like pregnancy was just rough, right? And then like childbirth, so labor, and she pushed her way out of the most sensitive part of my body, tearing her way through. She makes it into the world, and I know what's coming, sleepless nights, and she's going to continue to leech off of my body for all of her nutrients, and all she's going to do is like lay around and poop and cry, right? Like the checks and balances of the good things that she has done, like homegirls in the negative, except for the fact that the second they lay her on my chest, she is perfect. She rips her way out of my body, and all I think is, oh, I love you so much. I would have given my life for her in an instant. And like, I'm a little bit like selfish. And so like, and probably all of you parents have had the same experiences, or like anybody can look at a newborn baby and know that they have undeniable worth. That all of the hard parts of pregnancy, all of the unglamorous parts of childbirth, all of the rough parts of the newborn stage, like that doesn't define anything. That doesn't change anything. And so here's my argument. If we come into the world with this undeniable worth that has nothing to do with the checks and balances of like the positives and negatives. And like, sure, there's some positives. They're like super sweet, and like newborns have this smell and they snuggle. Like, yeah, there's some like positives, but like, do the positives really outweigh the negatives? Like, probably not. But that doesn't matter because they're beautiful and they're perfect and they have worth. And that stuff doesn't change anything about their value. And so here's my argument. If we come into the world with this undeniable worth, then when and how would that change? Like, why, as you get older, would your value like depreciate? And then all of a sudden, as an adult, it is about the checks and balances? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So here's my challenge for you to really try to believe. I know it's hard. It's not comfortable sometimes, and it just doesn't feel like it could be real. But I genuinely believe that when we have this firm foundation in believing in our worth, that is where we start to love ourselves. And when we love ourselves more, we give ourselves more grace, we give ourselves more patience, and then we give other people more grace and more patience because we know that they have undeniable worth too. So the guy that cuts you off on the road, like, yeah, it bugs you, but you don't feel as angry because like, whatever, he has flaws too. Like driving's not his strong suit, but it lets you just like let go of the and just stand in, we are all okay. We are all fundamentally good, and like we all just have different strengths and weaknesses that we're wrestling with, and so like we're just gonna keep on trying to be our best selves.